Hi everyone, how you all doing? About a week ago, I made a video called Simple Nav Bar with JavaScript, where I created a simple but also an elegant landing page with HTML, CSS, and Vanilla JavaScript. And this is the project right here. So this is it. I named it Elegant Landing Page, and let me close this. It looks like this. This is what we created in the video. In the project, our main focus was this nav bar like that looks like this, which looks nice. It looks like this. Once I click, it goes away. Well, we're going to we use the CSS transition to transition it smoothly to the screen, and also the CSS position it push it out of the screen 100%. And in the video, I explained everything in details. So in today's video, I decided to take it a step further by adding our about page, our contact page, and also our work page like this. So let me just show you guys. And I also changed a lot of things, not really much. Like in this project, this is the background color we use, but yeah, I changed the background color to this nice looking keyboard I got at pexus.com. And let me show you the about page. So this is how it looks like. Once I hover over these links, then the color changes into this blue color that I'm going to use. So this is the about page. It looks very nice and simple, just as the name, which says developer media. It's a website I'm creating, and hopefully I'll put it on YouTube. And it has this just this theory section. We're going to be using the CSS grid property for this also, and also has this nice looking footer that looks like this. And in the our work section, it looks like this, which looks very nice. Once I over any of the section, like any of the image, then the background color changes. And this is also very responsive. I'll show you that in a minute. And the contact section also looks like this. Once I over this, then the color changes a lot like this, and everything is very responsive and also nice. So I'd like to show you the responsiveness now. So if I put F12 and I do like this, oops, this is wrong. Let me just press this and press it again. And it looks like this. So there's no scrolling. So I set the overflow to hidden. So it looks like this, which looks very nice. If you notice, the text has gone. I made the text displayed none because I figured out in on a smaller screen like this, if the text is there, it's just going to be very crowded. Like the screen will be too crowded. So I decided to remove the text. And also in the about page, this also looks nice. They are all stacked. By default, I'm going to be using the flex property, but now they are all stacked. And also the my work page, which looks nice. It looks like this on the smaller screen. And let me see, our contact page also looks nice. They are all stacked like this also, which makes it very responsive. And if I'm put it like this, and let me make this smaller, it looks like this, which looks nice. The about page also looks decent. So around 600 around 680 pixels, then the text disappears like this, which makes it nice. So this is what we're going to creating. And I would like to say, if you guys haven't watched my simple nav bar with JavaScript, the video I uploaded about a week ago, then I highly recommend watching that first, because in that video I went deeper into explaining how we created the nav bar, how we created this nav bar, how we did everything. So I explain this in detail. I'm also going to explain it in this video, but I'm going to be going a lot faster than I went in this video, and you guys will see understand. So I want to also say this, that the video is going to be in like a series, because I don't want it to be just one big video of like 2 hours or so. So I'm going to break it down into two videos, hopefully, and I should be able to cram as much content as I want to in the two videos. They're going to be around 40 something minutes, I guess. So that's it, guys. Without further ado, let's jump in. So I'm going to head on to my text editor right now. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code, like you guys all know. So I'm going to close this and head on to Visual Studio Code, which is here. So I'd like to show you my file structure. I just have a folder in my desktop called Elegant Website like this, and three folder. This is the CSS folder. This is the image folders with our images. Like this is the background. Where is it? This is the background. This is the hosting, and this, and also our JavaScript folder with the file of app.js, and our empty index HTML folder, and these images I actually got some from Google and also from Pexels. So let me just show you. I'm going to go to pexels.com, pexels.com, this pexels.com, and I search for laptop. So where are you? Where could you be? I want you guys to know where I got it from. I'm also going to add a link in the description below to the image itself, so you can just grab that there. But I grabbed this from somewhere here. Where are you? Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. So this is the image I used. You can also grab this. I grabbed the large format. You can also grab anyone you want. And this is the image I use. Oops, why you do like this? Let me just close this. So this is the image I used. So you can also grab this. And for the SEO, I just search for SEO and I went to the image. I got it. Okay, this is the one I use. So you can grab this one if you want to use it, and you can also grab it in the description below. And also the C panel. So I said C panel, and I grabbed. Okay, I added logo, and I grabbed where are you? Okay, I grabbed this one right here. So this is the one I also use. So you can grab this, and I can close this up. So I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to generate our boilerplate. So with Visual Studio Code, I can generate our boilerplate with Shift 1 then Tab, and it's automatically going to generate our boilerplate. And I've increased my font size because on smaller screen, like on a mobile phone, I figured that you guys can't really see this, so I increased the font size for you guys. So I'm going to change the title to, what would I change the title to? Developers Media. And also like to link our style sheet before I forget. So I'll say link, then css slash style.css, and also our JavaScript. So I'll do script JavaScript slash app.js, and in here, what would I like to do? Okay, let's I forget. I also like to grab the font, because in the final project, I used the font called Popkins, so I would like to grab that. So I'll just say font.google. Oops, I cannot spell today.com, and search for Popkins, and in here just click this, and like I selected this one and embed. I'm going to copy all of this, copy and paste that in here. So above my CSS, I'm going to paste this in and save. It looks like this. I'm using the Prettier extension, so which, if you notice, it automatically formatted it like this when I saved. So let me show you. If you want to grab that, you can just grab it here. I just even installed it like an hour ago, so you can just grab it, install. And I also like to show you if settings, so you can just go to settings and see save on format, and it's by default this is going to be unchecked, so you just check this. So whenever you save the file, it's going to automatically beautify it. And let me just show you this. So Prettier, this is, you can also search for Prettier. I want to show you my settings in Prettier. So let me see, where are you? Okay, right here. So in my JavaScript, I always use semicolon, so I check this. By default it's going to be unchecked, so if you're also using semicolon, then you can check this. I'm also using the single quote, and I made my tab with 4, and that is all I use. I just wanted to show you guys this if you also want to copy. And so we'll start writing some HTML. So in the body, let me see, what would I like to do? I would like to create our header, so I can see header, and give it a div with a class of burger. And in here I would like to create 3 divs with a class of line 1 down to 2. So I'll say dot line -1, and with Visual Studio Code I can do line 1 then asterisk 3, and it's going to print it 3 times for me. And I can just close this. So I'm going to change this to 2 and this to 3. And below the header, then what would I like to have? I would like to have a div with a class of container that will wrap around everything like this. And I would like to have an HTML5 semantic main tag, and in here I'm going to put an h1 that says developers, and I'll put a span, because if you take a look at the final project, it looks like this. Let me just, okay, let me leave this. It looks like this. Where is the home page? It looks like this is in a color white and this is in another different color. So to make this happen, I'm going to wrap the media in a span tag. So I'll just do span. Who knows how to pronounce that? Span. Then I'll put let me see, media like this, and below this I'll put a paragraph with a class of lead, because I would like to style this paragraph a little bit different. And in here I'm going to say welcome to developers media, the I cannot spell today, or so much fun. I'm gonna put like this, and I guess that should be all. So if I'm to save now and take a look at our browser, I'm going to be using the live server extension. You guys can just open it in your file system like here and navigate down to wherever it is, but I'm just going to be using live server extension in Visual Studio Code. I know many of you know about this, so I'm just going to, if you want to use it, you can just come to the extension bar here and search for live server, and I have it installed already. So this is it. You can just install it if you want to use it. And what this does, I know many of you know this already. So what this does is that it automatically opens the file, the index file on my browser, on my default browser, which is Chrome, with the loopback address of 5500. So let me just open this. I can just come here and I can right click and I do open with live server, and it's going to open it in my browser. It opened on this screen, which is here. So right now I know this looks horrible, but we are going to style this in a minute. So let's head on to, let me see, our style sheet, and let's style this a little bit different. And there's something I forgot to add, so let me just close this. This is just consistency in news. And what would I like to say? So in the body, in the index file, I would like to give the body a class of main dash body and save, because we're going to style the body differently. If you take a look at the final project, I like to keep this open. The index file, which is this, has this background image, while the rest has this dark image without the background. So this is what we're going to be using. That's why I want to. That's why I gave the index file. I gave the body the class of main body. So I'm going to head on to my script and my CSS file here, and just do some basic resets just to get rid of all the default padding and margins. So say margin equals to 0 and padding equals to 0, and I'll say box sizing to border box and save. If we take a look now, it looks like this. So they are all stuck to the left. So let me see, should I make this smaller? So let me just kind of make this smaller. So let me snap this to this side and like this, so we can see both at the same time. This my screen is a little bit small. So in the body, I'm going to give the body some default styling, and this, so just like, if you remember, we imported the font of pumpkin, so I'd like to put that in our CSS. So I'm going to come here again and grab this, copy, and I can completely close this tab so it looks like this, and I'll paste it in our CSS. And I would like to continue styling. I'll give the font size of, not font size of, just font size of 17 pixels. I'll give it a line, not line, oh, it's wrong, line height of 1.7. I'll give it a background color, so I'll do background of a really dark gray, almost black, and give it a, let me see, what else would I like to give here? So I guess I can leave it like this. If I save and take a look, it looks like this. So let me just change the color to a white color to white, and give it a width of 100%, and also an height of 100%, and save. It looks like this, which is fine for now. So remember, I gave the index file, I gave the body a class of main body. So I'm going to start that now. Say main dash body, and I'll give I'll go with a background color. So say background color. Now navigate down to, not that background color, background image, and then navigate down to our image folder. So URL, then dot dot, which goes one level up into the image folder and into the background.jpg. And if I save this now, we take a look, it looks like this, which looks like rubbish. Let me just increase this so we can see what is really happening. So it looks like this, which looks terrible. We're going to style this in a minute. So I'm going to give it I'll go with the background position. So I'll do background dash position to center. I'll go with a background size, background dash size to cover. So and let me see if I save and take a look. It looks like this. Oh, that's bad. So let me see. Let me give it an height of 100 viewport height, and also width of 100%. I also like to add here a background repeat to no repeat, and save, and we take a look. It looks like this, no problem at all. So let's see, what do I want to do now? It looks like this. So the next thing we want to do now is that, if you take a look, the image is so loud right now because we cannot really see the text. The text is just covered and the image is too loud. So in the final project like this, let me just come to the home page. Take a look, we give an we put an rather than overlay of a dark color, which makes the text stand out like this. So to do that, I can just come here and add to this place a div with a class of dark dash overlay like this, and I put nothing inside. Save, put nothing inside, and I come to my CSS and I'll show you this. I'll say dot dark overlay, and I'll give it a position of absolute, and give it a top of 0, and give it a left of 0. Give it a background color. This is what I could have done of an RGBA color, because I want it to be transparent, to be see-through, of black 000, which means black, and that's going to be the alpha, which will be the transparency, and I say 0.7, and let me give it an height. We do an height of 100 viewport height and a width of 100%, and save. And now it is actually working, which looks like this. Let me see what else that I want to do. Because if you take a look now, it is on top of this text. It is on top of everything on the text, which is not what we want. So we want to push it below the text. So to do that, we can just add a z index of -1, which will push it below. Let's see when we take a look, it's now below. So this is actually working, but I don't want to have another div in our HTML. We can just style this with CSS. I'm going to completely get rid of this and save. Whenever I save and we take a look, it has gone. So we're going to use this CSS pseudo selector, the CSS theory pseudo selector, like I did in the other video. We also did the same thing. So to do that, I'm just going to replace this with main body, and the pseudo selector, we're going to grab the after. We have the after and the before, so I'm going to grab the after. So we'll do double colon, then after, then we'll do the same thing. But in pseudo selectors, we always have there's always a context. So we do context, let me see, context of an empty string. Or if I put some things inside here now and I save and we take a look, it actually gets added, but we don't want that. We want it to be an empty string. So an empty string like this, and save, and the same effects happens, which is fine. So what else do we want to do? Let me see real quick. It looks like this. We have done the background and we have done the overlay. Let's go to the styling of this h1 and the paragraph itself, because right now it looks like rubbish, and I will just do that before I add the nav bar, because we're also going to add the nav bar. So in here in the CSS, I'm going to come here and I'll do this is for the home page. I'm going to how will I say it, comment this a lot. So for the home page, remember the home, we have it wrapped in a main. Oh, this is what I forgot. I also forgot the container class, so I'm going to add it right here. So I'm going to say u utility utilities, I cannot spell top, and like this, and I'm going to say dot container. So for the container, I would like to give it, what would I like to give it? I'm just going to check real quick. So give it a width of 80 pixel 80%, and give it a margin of auto and save. Then it has centered it why are you like this? It has centered it in the middle, which is like this. So let us continue with the home page. And like I said, the home page, everything in here is wrapped in an HTML5 semantic tag of main. So I'm going to say main, and I'll give it, what would I like to give it? I would like to make it display flex. So I'll say display flex, and if I save and we take a look now, it actually comes in this fashion. By default, once we use the flex property, by default it's always in the direction of row. So we're going to stop that, but let's continue. We'll say align items, not content, align items to the center and justify content to the center. I like to do text. I'll do text align to the center, and also like to change the flex direction. So flex direction to colon and save. It looks like this, which is fine. So but I want to push it down a little bit, so I'm going to give it a margin dash top of 40 viewport height, and save. And actually push it down like this. But we have an issue. There's a scroll bar here which we don't want. So to just clear that, we're going to go to let me see, we're going to go right here in the main body. I'm going to give it an overflow of hidden. So if I see, when take a look, and there's no scroll bars at all, which is fine. So let us start this h1, because now this h1 is way too small. So to start the h1, we're just going to come here and I'll do the main, then the h1 in it. I'll give it a font size of 4 and give it a font weight of bold, and save. Take a look now, it looks like this, which is big, which is fine. And also the paragraph tag in, yes. And if we take a look at the final project, I don't know if you guys can really see this, or I don't know if you can see this, but this lead, this paragraph here, it also have a background color. It has a background like this, which is a little bit transparent. That's why you guys cannot really see it. If I'm to go to the about page and show you, it looks like this. This is also a paragraph with the class of lead, so it has this background color. So that's how I added the class of lead to it. So I'm going to style this, and it's going to be a utility. So I'm going to put it in here because I'm going to use it throughout. I'm going to say dot lead, and this is what I'm talking about in here. Hope I added it. Yes, this lead, the class of lead. Oops. And I'm going to give it a font size of 1.5 rem. I'll give it a background color of an RGB color. Again, I can just copy this. I can just copy all of this, copy and replace this, and just change the opacity to 0.4. And also like to add some padding to it. So padding of 0.5 rem at the top and bottom, and 1 rem at the left and right, and save. Let us take a look. It looks like this. You guys cannot really see the background, so if I comment this out and I give it a background color of, let me do white. Let me just do red, so you guys can see this red, and save. It looks like this. So this is actually what is happening. So I'm just going to return back to where it looks like. It looks like this. There's a background color in there, but we cannot really see it right now. So I like to push it down a little bit. So I'm going to give it let me say, how should I give it? Margin top of one rem and save. So I actually pushed it down a little bit, and I guess we are through with this section. So let us now deal with our burger itself, and we're going to do that with JavaScript. So let me just go to my JavaScript file, and the JavaScript, let me open this. So JavaScript, and in here I'd like to map out what we're going to do. So to map this out, let me just do selectors. This one will be the events we're going to be calling, and this one will be the functions. We don't even really need this function, but let me just check real quick. What do we do? So in the selector, I like to select, I'll do const burger. We like to select the burger. So, and in here, I added this div. This is what I'm actually going to select. I'm going to select this div with a class of burger. So I'm going to do dot burger. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it burger, and document dot query selector. Then select the class of burger. Put my semicolon, and also select the nav itself. Oops, that's what I forgot. I'm sorry about this, guys. I actually forgot about this. So you'll just style this now. Let me just leave this alone. Let me clear this and save. Nothing will happen. So if I'm to go to my index file, and in here I forgot about the nav. I'm sorry about this. So I'm going to put a div. In fact, I'm not going to use a div inside the header. So a nav itself, in HTML5 semantic nav tag, and in here I'm going to give it a class of nav, and give it, let me see, a ul, not ul with an li, and to copy this 3 times, let me just li, and I'll put an a tag here that will go to, let me see, this a tag will go to index, because this is the index page.html, and this one will say home, and let me see, what would I do? I like to copy this down 3 more times. So I'll do alt shift down. It's going to copy it down. I'm going to change this to about, like that, about, and the location where this one will take us to is about.html. I'll copy this one down again and change this to work, and change this to, let me see, our work, and also copy this down once more and change this to contact, and also here, and I'll do contact and save. So we can do the JavaScript a little bit later and save, and we take a look. It actually looks like this. It looks like crap right now, and it has pushed this down a little bit. So let us just style this. What we want to happen is that by default, this nav itself, the nav link and all the components in it, we want them to be out of the screen 100%, like I said in the earlier in the my other video. It's going to be out of the screen 100% around this side, 100% out of the screen. We're going to be doing the CSS positioning, and when we click on the nav bar, which we have not styled yet, then we want it to come down. So I'm still thinking, what should we style now? Let us just do the burger itself, so we can actually see what is happening. So I'm going to go and style the burger now. So I'm going to go to the burger. Where is it? In my CSS file, and this is what I want to grab. So the boy is this burger. I want to grab all div in it. So I'm going to come here, and below inside the utility here, I'm going to say dot burger, then all div in it, and I'll give it, let me see, what would I like to give the divs? I like to give it an height of 3 pixels, give it a width of 28 pixels, and give it a margin to push them, margin of 0 at the top and bottom, and 0, just 0.2 all around, 0.2 all around, and give it a background color, because I cannot give it a background. It's going to be a background color because there's nothing in it. So I'm going to give it a background color of a white color, and let me see, that should be, or if I save and take a look, it actually looks like this, which is fine. Now we are getting there, guys. We are doing this. Let us clap for ourselves. So this is fine. So I like to style this a little bit. I'm going to call the burger itself. I'm going to push it down a little bit. I'll say burger. Now give it a position of fix because I want it to stay at the top, even if you can scroll. So I'll say position fix, and just to show you what I'm talking about in the final project. Here I'm put it in the responsive mode like this, and I make this smaller. Right now we can scroll and we take a look. The nav bar still stays at the top because I don't want it to scroll with the screen. So that's why we're going to give it a position fixed. So I'm going to say position fixed. I'll give it a top to push it down a little bit of 3%, and give it left. Give it a left of 2%, and let me see what else would I like to do. I like to make it above every other thing. So I'm going to do the index of 6, or I mean make it 5 and save and take a look. It looks like this is above this. It's above the link tag. Is right here. I can click on it. Nothing's happening right now, but that is fine. So let us go deal with this. What's the name of this? This nav link itself. So I'm going to come here now, and we're going to use our JavaScript. By default, I want this to be out of the screen 100%. So to do that, I'm going to call the nav. I'm going to say nav. Wait, what am I going to call this? Nav. I'm going to say right here. So because it's inside the utility also, because we're going to use the nav throughout. So say nav, and give it a position of fixed. Let me see, position of fixed. Position fixed, and give it a top of minus 100%. So this is going to push it 100% out of the screen. So if I'm to save, I'm going to take a look. Is out of the screen already. So if I put 0 in here and I save, it looks like it, which is 0% on the screen, which is what top 0 means. So I'm going to do top 100%, and also give it a left of 0, and give it a display of flex. Should I do that now? Let's just wait and deal with it. Now it's out of the screen. If I'm to inspect, if I put F12, oops, not like this, make this a little bit bigger and inspect. If I'm to go to my header and the nav, it actually tells like it's out of the screen. If you take a look at here, it says that it's out of the screen. So now we're going to use. So now we're going to go to our JavaScript file, and in here, like I said, I'm going to call this. I'm going to say I've already grabbed the burger itself. I'm also going to grab the nav itself. So I'm going to say const. What would I call this? Nav equals to document.query selector. Then I'm to say the class of nav like this, and put a semicolon. I'm going to add an event listener. So I'm going to say burger to the burger itself. So burger.add event listener. Then listen for a click event. Then run a function. So we'll run a function of open nav like this. That's what we're going to call the function. I'm going to call the function in here. Say function of open nav, then like this, and just to test this if it's working. So I'm going to console.log, it's not that .log, then it is working. Like save and head on to my browser in here, and I open my developer tool like this. Let me make this smaller and go to console. Once I click on this, I want you guys to take a look at this. So once I click, it actually says it is working, which makes sense because now it is saying it is working. So once I click, it's actually working. It's actually console logging something out for us. But that's not what I want to do. So what I want to do is, now when we click on that, then we want to call our nav item. So if I'm to console log this like I did in the earlier video, so I will say nav and see. Once I click on this, then take a look at this. Once I click on this, actually gives us the nav with everything in it. So that's what we're going to start now. So in here, we're going to do like this, and we're going to add a class of open nav to the nav, which is going to push it 0% on the screen, which is going to put it on the screen. So that's what we're going to do with JavaScript, and this is the only JavaScript I think. Okay, this is not the only one. We're also going to do the transition of the burger like this to turn into an X. So in here, let us do that real quick. So I'm going to cut this and put this in here and say dot class list dot add. I can add it, but I don't want to add it because when I click on it, let me show you. When I click on it, I want it to remove the nav item, and when I click on it again, I want it to add it. But when I click, I want it to remove. When I click, I want it to add it. So to do that, we're not going to put add. We're going to use toggle. So we're going to do nav dot classes dot toggle. They want to toggle the class of open, or let me say open nav and save, and it looks like this. So if I have to head on to my browser in here and I show you guys this, let me just make this smaller. Go to my element, and in the header I want you guys to take a look at this nav itself. So once I click on this, then the class of open nav should get added to this. Once I click, it gets added to it. Once I click again, it gets removed. If I use add like this and I save and I come here and I click on this, okay, let me reload. Let me show you this header, and inside the nav, once I click on this, it gets added, but once I click again, it will not remove. So that's why we cannot use add. That's why we're going to use toggle. So I'm going to return this to toggle, and this should work the same way. So once I click on this, oops, where am I clicking on? Now it's working. It's actually adding and removing it. So that's what we're going to style now. So I'm going to close this and go to our style sheet, and we can now start styling this. So I'm going to go to our CSS, and in here, so just to do that, I'm going to come in and just comment and do open nav, and come in and do dot open dash nav. Then what I want to do is give it a top, because it is this position fixed already. So I could write position fixed blah blah blah, but that's just an extra line of code. I can just say top of 0%, and this is all I need to do. So let's see if I'm look at this. Once I click on this, it actually get added to the screen like this, which looks horrible for now. Once I click, it gets removed. Once I click, it gets added. Once I click, it gets removed. So that's it, guys. We're actually doing it. So I'd like to style this a little bit, because right now this looks so ugly. So I'd like to style this, and in the nav bar, in the nav itself, so I'm going to, below the left view, I'm going to do display of flex, and align items to the center, justify content to the center, and give it a width of one. Oops, what am I doing? So width of 100%, and also an height of 100 viewport height, and save. So we take a look. It actually looks like this. So it is on top of everything. So just to make it see through, we're going to do background color. I can just grab that again. Oops, not this. I can cut this, and I can just grab this up here and copy this and paste this in like this, and I'll change the see-through to a little bit darker, so it's actually darker. So once I save and take a look, it actually looks like this. So let me reload this page. It looks like this by default, and once I click on this, then get added to the screen. So this is it now. I also want to style this, because right now this looks like rubbish. So but the background is working fine, like in the final project. This is the background it has. So I'm going to style this link item to look this decent. So for all li, I'm just going to give it a general style. So up at the top right, I'm going to say for all li, you want to remove the bullet points. I can just space and do, then the list style, list style to none, and that should be all. And I'm going to do for all e tags, I'm going to give it a color of white, and get rid of that text decoration of none, and save. And we'll take a look. It actually looks like this now, which is better. So what else do we want to do? Let's now start. If I click on this, it gets removed. If I click, it gets added. About it flicking to the screen, we're going to deal with that in a minute, but let's just style this a little bit. So what else do we want to do? We want to up the font size. So I'm going to come down here now, and in here I'm going to copy the nav, then grab the UL in it, and I'll give it a display of flex also, and align items to the center, justify content to the center. Give it if I save now, like I said earlier, the first property, the default direction is always in a row. So once I save, it actually comes in a row direction. So I'm going to prevent that from happening. So flex direction to colon, and also like to give it a text align to the center, and also give it a width of 100%, so it spreads across, width of 100%, and save. And this should be fine. It looks like this. Let me also give it an height. Do we really need an height? Let me just give it an height of 100% and save. It looks like this, which is fine. So once I click, it gets removed. Once I click, it gets added. That is fine. I also like to style the LIs in it. So I'm going to copy all this, paste this, and say for all LIs, then give it a margin of 1 rem at the top, 1 rem at the top and bottom, 0 at the left and right. Give it a font size of 1.3 rem, and give it a font weight of bolder, and save. And it actually looks like this now, which is fine. And why did I give this? Let me just comment this out first and save. It looks this small. Don't worry about this. And for the 8 tags in it, I'm going to copy this, paste this in, and for the 8 tags, I'll give it a font size of 1.5 rem, and let me see, that should be all, and save. It looks like this, which is fine, like this, which is fine. So I can just delete this. I cannot remember why I did that in the early video. So it looks like this. Once I click, it gets added. Once I click, it gets removed rather. So okay, like in the final project in here, I'm to go to the home page. Home page, like this. Once if we're in the home page, then we want the a tag of the index file to have this color to have this blue color. And once I go to the about page, and every other page should have the color of this blue. Once I go to the our work should also have this blue. So to do that, I'm going to do that in our HTML, and I'm going to put it right where here in the a tag of the index, because this is the index file. So I'm going to give the class of current, which means we are currently on this folder, and save. And I'll style that in our CSS. So where would I like to put it? Is in the utility below the 8 tag. So I'll say for all class of current, I like to give it a color. So let me just check that color real quick. Which color did I use? I used and I'll give it a color of an hexadecimal color 1AB 6CF, and say this is the color right here, and save. And once I click on this, it actually has this color now, which is fine. So that's what's going to happen. Once I click on this, actually takes us to a page that says cannot find about HTML because I've not created that file. But I want to do that. Once I save, reload, and actually has this color, which is fine. I also want to have an over effect. So when I over any of these link items, then they should have these colors. So to do that, that's very, very simple. I'm just going to come in here and right here, where will I put it, for all 8 tags, the nav item for all 8 tags. Then when I over them, like this, on over, give the color of that of this color, and save. Over this, then it happens, it changed the color, which is fine. But if you notice, it just flicks to the color. So to prevent that, I'm just going to add a transition to this. So to the 8 tag, I'm going to say let me see, transition, or the first parameter is going to be the all what we want to transition, which is going to be everything. The second will be the type of transition. So I'm going to do is, then 0.5 sec, which is going to be the third one will be the duration. So if I save and take a look now, once I over this, then it's transition smoothly into the color. Once I do this like this, it works fine. Once I close this close. Once I click on this, it actually looks very, very decent. So let me see, can we say we are true? Okay, I also want to deal with this. So if they could, once I click on this, just flicks to the screen. To prevent that from happening, I'm also going to use the transition property here. So we're going to add that in the nav itself. So I can just copy all of this, copy and paste that in here, and paste it in here and save. And it looks like the same way we load the page. Once I click on this, then I want you to take a look at how smoothly it transitions to the screen. So once I so for some reason that did not transition smoothly. So let me reload the page. Why aren't you working? Okay, not here. Cut, and I want to put it in the nav itself right here. That's the reason. So I can save and reload the page. And once I click, it transitions smoothly into the screen. That is a little bit too fast. So just to show you, I put 5 seconds and I save, reload. Once I click on this, then it's going to take 5 seconds to come to the page. Once I click on this, it actually takes 5 seconds to come to the page, which is very slow. That is not what I want. I want it to be a second. So 1 second, and I click reload, click on this. It takes 1 second to come to the screen. Once I click, it gets out, it leaves the screen for another 1 second, which is fine. So what do we want to do now? Okay, we want to transition the burger itself, because in the final push, once I click on this, then thing changes into an X like this. It changes into an X. Once I click, it changes into the tail line. To do that, we're going to use a little bit of JavaScript, and I promise this is the last JavaScript we're going to use. So we're going to come to our JavaScript, and like we did for this nav item itself, that we added the class of open nav, we toggle the class of open nav. We're also going to do the same thing. So let me just put a comment here. Toggle the class of open nav, just for you guys for reference, and I'll put what can I say here, turns burger into an X, not turn burger into an X. And just like the same thing we did, we're going to grab the burger itself. So also burger dot class list dot toggle, then we're going to toggle the class of close burger like this, and save. So if I'm to see, if I'm to inspect again like this, open F12 and like this. To open your developer tool, I forgot to say in the first place, you can open it with F12. You can just click F12 or let me close, then just come to this 3 burger line and go to more tools and developer tools. Then you can open. I'm going to come. I want you guys to take a look at the burger itself in here. So once I click on this, then I want to take a look at this. Then the class of close burger should get added. Once I click, it gets added. Once I click, it gets removed. Once I click, it gets added. So that's also what we want to style. So I can close this and come to, and I guess that's all for our JavaScript. So I can just close this file, and boom, that is that for that. So I'm going to put it below this place, and I'm going to say for, let me see, I'm going to grab all the div itself. So say close dash burger, then all divs in it, then I'll do, then the div, then what I want to do is not the div. If you take a look at the HTML file, each div has a class of line 1, this one has line 2, line 3, like this. So this is what we're going to style differently. So I'm going to say for burger, close burger, then the line dash 1, oops, supposed to be class line dash 1. I can just copy this 2 more times and change this to 2 and this to 3, and like this. So just to show you this is working, once I click on that, let me just change the background color to a red color of this first one, and change this one background color to a green color, and save. And this one should also background color to, let me see which color, that color do we have, yellow, and save. And I click on this. I want you to take a look. Once I click, the color all changes. If this is what you want, then feel free to use this, but I don't want it. I just wanted you guys to see. Once I click, it removes. Once I click, it gets added again. So that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is we're going to use the CSS transform property, and we're going to say for the first line, I want you to transform, then rotate. I want you to rotate 45 degrees like this, and we also use the translate property, translate, then 5 pixels, 5 pixels, and this should do it. So once I save, so what this is going to happen, there's no change. So once I reload and I click on this, then this rotates 45 degrees to my right. Like, how would I say, like it rotates 45 degrees like this, and that is fine. So this is actually turning into an X gradually. So we're going to do the same thing for the third line. So we want the third line to rotate minus 45 degrees, which will make it like this. To do that, I can just come here and close, delete this, and say transform, then rotate minus 45 degrees, because we want you to do the opposite. Then translate 5 pixels, comma minus 4 pixels like this, and I save and we take a look, reload. It looks like once I click on this, then it turns into an X, which is what I want, like this. So you feel free to mess around with the values. It actually took me some time before I could figure out what these values are, so you can just mess around with them if you don't like the X. But I feel like this X is pretty decent, so it turns into an X. But there's still one more problem, because this middle line is actually there, which is not making it looks like an obvious X. So to get rid of that, we're going to use, instead of if you give it a background color of this, we're going to give it a how do I say, we're going to give it an opacity of 0 and save. Let me see. Okay, and save and take a look. Once I reload and I click on this, and it turns into an X. Once I click it, get out, each what do I like saying, get out, it turns into the theory burger line, like earlier. And once I click, it works. Once I click, it turns into the theory line, and the nav is also working. Once I over this is working fine. Once I click, it removes. Once I click, it get added again. So I guess we are through. But okay, we also want to add the transition to this, because this just flicks into the X and flicks into the theory lines. So I'm also going to copy this, the transition. I can just come here to the burger in here, and I'll do see transition, not transform. Is it transition? How would I like to put this? Not here. Sorry about this. In the burger div, I'm going to say transition, not transform. Transition. Then all is, then I want to take 1 second like this and save. Once I click on this, then it will transition smoothly into the X. Once I click, it turns into the tail, and once I click, it turns into the X. Once I click, it changes into the tail, and once I click, it changes into the X. So I also like to add a cursor of pointer to the D. So I say cursor of pointer, so it looks like something that can be clicked. So it looks like this, which is fine. So also like to add the hover effect, because in the final project, once I hover over this, then it rotates 225 degree, I guess. So is it 225 degree? I don't remember, so we'll just deal with that. So let me see. To do that, let me just come here, and we're going to also going to call this close burger and put it in here. And I'll do, once we click on it, I want it, okay, just if we take a look, like if you look at it, this rotates first, then turns into an X. Once I click, it rotates back and turns into an X. Once I click, it rotates. This one is not doing like this. Once I click, it just turns into an X. Do that to make it rotate into to make it rotate first before turning into an X. We're just going to come to our CSS and write in here. So I'm going to say dot close burger. Then I want it to transform, then rotate. I want it to rotate 180 degrees and save. And if we take a look right now, reload, and I click on this, it just turns into that. That's wrong. Let me take a look. What have we messed up in here? Before that, I also like to add, the reason that is like this is because we have to add let me see, we have to add a transition to this. So transition, not transform, transition, then all is 0.1 second, save and reload. Click on this, and why are you like this? Let's just figure out what we missed in here. So okay, it does this. How did this get copied twice? So save, and hopefully this will fix it. So once I click on this, then it rotates before turning into an X. Once I click, it rotates back. Once I click, it rotates into turning into an X, which is fine. So also want to add the hover effect, because when I hover over this, I want this to rotate 225 degree, like the final project in here. Once I hover, it rotates a little bit. So to do that, I'm going to call this, where are you, this, copy this and paste this, and I say dot colon over. I want it to transform. I can just copy this, copy and paste this in here. And I want it to rotate not 180 but 225 and save. And hopefully this should fix it. Reload. Once I click on this, it rotates. Once I hover over this, it looks like this, which is fine. So just like the final project, once I click it, it sorry about this, guys. It turns into an a 3 line. Once I click it rotates before turning into an X. So that's it, guys. I guess we are through with the index page. This is nice. The over effect is working. So we'll just continue now, and we're going to deal with the responsiveness in a like in the next video, because I said this is going to be a 2 series video. So in the next video, we're going to deal with the responsiveness. So if I'm to check the responsiveness right now, it looks like crap. So it looks like this, which is terrible. It is not even scalable. It looks like this, and on smaller screen it looks bad. So we're going to deal with this in the last video. This is going to be the last thing we're going to do. So I'm just going to close this, and now let us go to our about page. So in here, I'd like to create another file called about.html, and in here I can just, what can I do? I can just copy this. How can I copy this? Just copy everything and I'll just weed out those we don't need. So I copy everything and paste it in here. I'm going to start weeding out from the bottom. So let me see, what do we not need? We do not need this main tag, so I can delete this. And also want to remove this class of main body. And what else do we not need? We need the burger, yes. We need the nav, yes. We need the title to change to developer media and about like this. And what else do we need? I guess that's all we need, so we can start styling. If I save this and come here and click on about, it looks like this, which is empty. So we're going to start putting our HTML, and in the container, like I said, everything is wrapped inside the div with the class of container. So I'm going to put a section. This section will have a class of about, and let me see, inside the section I'll put a div with the class of about dash header, and in I'm going to put an h1 that will say developer, then like I did earlier, span and I'll do media. And okay, that's one thing I also forgot. I don't know why I keep forgetting things. If I'm to save this and go to our home page, it looks like this. We haven't changed the color to the blue color like this. The color hasn't changed, so it hasn't changed to this blue color. So to do that, that's just very simple. In our index page, sorry about this, guys, I just keep forgetting. In the span tag, I like to give it a class of primary dash color and save. And in our CSS, in our utility, let me see, where would I like to put it? Below the comment, and I'll do dot primary dash color. What I want to do is I want to give it a color of this. So I can just copy this, copy and paste this in and save, and this should fix it. Now it has fixed it. So now the color is different, which is fine, like the final project. So let's continue our about page, and this should, okay, let's also add the class of primary color to the about page. So I can close the index, and in the about page also like to give it a class of primary dash color and save, and that should have the color right there. That is fine. So what should we do? Should we also continue writing our HTML? So below the div, below this div, I'm going to put another div. Now put an, not without a class, so let's put another div, and I'm going to put an h3 with a class of lead. And what would I like to do? Say about, then put the span tag again with a class of primary dash color, because we also want it to have that color. And I'll put about us, and that is fine for that. And below that div, below the div, what would I like to do? I would like to have a div with a class of about context. If I can save and take a look, it looks like this. because of the padding and styling we gave to the class of lead. So this is actually styled for us without stress. So I would like to just go to the about page, and in here, so I would like to have this div. This one is going to be its own content, which is going to be a div with a class of about, and everything is wrapped in a big div with a class of about content with s. So to do that, I'm going to come and do dot about dash content with s, and in here I'm going to put each div. So I'm going to div with the class of content. And what would I like to put in here? I like to put at first I like to put the content head. So say about dash head, not header this time. So about that head, and I put an h4 that will say goal, so which should be like the goal of the company. And below the div, I'll put a paragraph here, and I'll put, let me see, lorem 15. And in Visual Studio Code, you can generate some sample words by using lorem then tab. If I do lorem tab, it generates some sample words for me. With Sublime Text, you can also do that, and also with Atom. I don't know about other text editor, but you can also do this with Sublime Text and also Atom. But I can just say the amount of word I want it to describe. So I want it to describe like 15 words on the tab, and it generates 15 words for me, which is fine. If I'm to see, if I'm take a look, it looks like this now, which looks ugly. So what we're just going to do is we're basically going to copy this context itself. I'm going to copy it down 2 more times. So I'm going to copy and paste this in, and also like this, and just change some things in it. So I'm going to change this to mission and leave the text is fine, and this one will be vision, and the text is also fine, and that should be all. Let me see. If I'm to save, it looks like this, and just check our browser, it looks like this. Okay, also like to add our footer. So right below everything, I'm not going to say this is too much. Footer, it has an ID of main dash footer, and in here I just want to put a small tag with it, and I'll say copyright, then put this, and I'll do copy, where are you, and I'll say 2020 developer, then put the span tag like I did, the class of primary color like this, and I'll put developer media, and that should be, after the span tag I'll put an ICN like INC like this, and save, and it looks like this, which looks ugly. So let us start styling this, and this is going to be what we're going to do in this video, and in the next video we're going to continue with the other pages. So let's just start styling this. Now style.css, I'd just like to grab where would I like to put it in the style.css, then where will I put it? I'm just checking it in my, okay, right here. So I'll just put below the h3, I'll come here, right here, and I'll do about page, and I'll just grab, let me see, what can I grab? What I want to grab at first, I want to grab the header itself. So in here, this is what I want to grab. Copy this and dot about header. I want to call the h1 in it, h1, and give it a font size. I want to up the font size 3.5 rem. If I save and take a look, it looks like that. So I like to give it a text align to the center. I'll do text, yanks, thanks, text align to the center, and also push it down a little bit. So I'll do margin of 2.5 frame at the top and bottom, and 0 left and right, and save. It looks like that. It looks like this, which is fine. So what would I like to do next? The about section is pretty styled already, so let's deal with this about content. So in here I'll just put this dot about dash content, and I'll put a width of 100%, not 200, 100%. I'll give it a margin of theorem at the top and bottom, 0 at the left and right. You make it display grid and define the template and the arrangement. So the grid template column of repeats. I can just do one fr I would like to do one fr, and that's all, and then save. Oops, where aren't you working? And this did not even work because of this comma. Let me save. It looks like this is actually working, but this is just a lot of code. I can just use the repeats. Then I want to repeat 3 times, then one fr, and save, and it still has the same work. It is working fine. So I like to give it a grid gap of 2 rem, and save, and they look like this, which is fine. So I mean, it's up right now, but we're going to start this now. So for the content itself, so for all content, I'd like to give it a background color of that RGB color. So I can just pick which one would I like to pick. I can just pick this one and change this to 3 and save. When we take a look, it looks like this. So this is nice. I like to give it a border. So border bottom of 3 pixels solid, then that color, that's blue color, like this, and save, and it looks like this. So they all stuck to the left. So to do that, I'm not going to style that differently. I'm going to call the about dash head, and this is what I'm actually grabbing right now. Where are you? This one in here, this is what I'm grabbing, and I want to give it let me see, I also want to give it a padding of 0.5 rem top and bottom, and 1 rem left and right. If I save, it looks like this. So that's some padding at the left and at the top. I want to give it a font weight of bold, not bolder, bold, and give it a border bottom, because I want it to have a border. So I can copy this, paste this in here, and save. It looks like this, which is fine. So let me see, for the content itself, I also want to grab that. So I can just do let me see, what can I do? I can just copy this, paste, and for the p tag, I also want to add some padding of 0.5 rem top and bottom, 1 rem left and right. It looks like this, which is fine now. So, and this is a little bit so thick. Let me check. Okay, this is lighter, so this should be 1 pixels, not 3 pixels, and it looks like this, which is fine. So what else do I want to do? And maybe we do, just to check, what else do we need? Okay, we also need to do the footer itself. So right now the footer looks like this, and there is a problem, guys, because we don't want the footer to be we don't want the footer to be around this level. We want it to be at the bottom no matter what. We want it to be around this side at the bottom every single time. So we're going to use the position fixed of CSS theory. So I'm going to put it below. I'm going to do for all footers. Then what I want to do is I want to call the footer. So I'm going to give it a position of fixed, and I save. It looks like this. I want to give it a bottom of 0%. If I save it, it is now at the bottom 0%. So what else would I like to do to it? Let me just check real quick. I like to give it a text aligned to the center. So let me give it a text aligned to the center, text align center, and also give it a width of 100%. Like it in height. Let me see, what else do I need to give it? Save. It looks like this. Let me give it a background color. So I'll do background dash color of the RGB color, and I'm going to use this one with alpha of 0.7. Let's say if it looks like this, let me add some padding to it. Let's say padding of 1 rem at top and bottom, 2 rem left and right. It looks like this, which looks nice. And what else do we want to add? I guess this looks decent enough. So it looks like this. Reload, it looks like this. This is fine. So let me see, what else do we need to do? For the about page, let me see. Okay, we also want to add the class of current to the about, not the home. So I can just cut this. Oops. And how can I cut this? Cut and paste it in here and save. Then the class of current should get added to this one, and when it's in the home page, it gets added to this one, and now it is fine. So that is all that's what we're going to be doing for this video. In the next video, we're going to create the work page and also the contact page, which is also very, very simple. They are also very, very similar. And we're also going to do the responsiveness. I'll leave a link. Let's not forget, I'll leave a link in the description below of this video to the second video we're going to create, so you guys can just grab get the link there and watch the video instead of looking for the video all over the place on YouTube. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, leave a comment. If you have other questions, I promise to reply, and I'll see you in the next video.